Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jean Russell, and I'm with Cass Schools. We are a five-school network about to open our sixth school with our fourth school district, which is Cass Teach High School in Northside ISD, which will open in August of 2022. I want to thank you for joining us as we launch our fourth annual Speak Up, Speak Out Civics Fair, Regional Civics Fair in San Antonio. This is one of my personal all-time favorite events, as it gives us a chance to hear directly from all of you. The purpose of Speak Up, Speak Out is for young people to activate their voice and discover the power they have to change their communities for the better. A pillar at Cass Schools is student voice and agency, and that is why we are all here today. Over the next few months, students from different schools across our region will identify a change they would like to make our community stronger, conduct research, interview and collaborate with community experts, and present their ideas to people with the power to help make that change. Some of you will go on to present your ideas to celebrity judges at UTSA, and a select few will present them at the Texas State Capitol. I'd like to acknowledge and thank Heather Vaughn, who runs the statewide Speak Out Civics Fair at UT Austin's Annette Strauss Institute for Civic Life, and our community partner, Leroy Adams from Our Tomorrow. Speaking of student voice and agency, I'm so happy to turn this program over to Michael Hetler, who is a junior at Cass Tech High School and who's going to share a little bit about his personal experience with Speak Up, Speak Out.
Like she said, I'm Michael Hetler. I'm a junior at Cass Tech. Just talking about my experience, I was able to participate in Speak Up, Speak Out my freshman year. I got to talk about a topic at the time, which was pretty close to me, which was public transportation. In middle school, I went to a private school that was very close to my house, so my parents could drop me off. But coming to Cass Tech in the middle of downtown, I wasn't able to have them drive me every day. So I had to figure out a way if I wanted to come here to get to school. So I chose to take the Via bus, which was about an hour and 15 minutes bus ride every morning to get to school by 8:30. And a couple months into school, I was presented with the opportunity in class to speak up, speak out. And we got these topics to choose from, and I think at first some kids thought like, oh, we just pick it and it's just some project. And I got to pick public transportation with my group, and being the only one, it gave good insight. We had to find a problem within public transportation that we could try to fix. And getting on the buses, if you've ever been on a Via bus, it's definitely like not the cleanest place in the world. And so obviously, that's not on the bus driver or anyone, just a single person. It's just kind of building up from the day. And it obviously got dirtier as I got into school at 4 and had to take the bus. Well, there was trash cans, in the bus stops, but those were usually always full. Or your seats were sticky. And so I got the opportunity, and we thought that maybe we should try to put like little smaller trash cans, even just by the driver, just so you could, not just throwing it down. And then also, I talked about just putting, this was before COVID, right? And I talked about just putting like hand sanitizer or hand wipes, just if someone wants the option, they can take one and wipe their seat down just to feel better. And obviously now with COVID, I haven't been on the bus since freshman year, but I don't know if they have something like that now. It gave me a great opportunity. It was just a real eye-opening experience just to go talk. I first presented at my school, and I got to go to UTSA. And at UTSA, I didn't win. I didn't get to go to Texas Capitol, I think, and present it. But I actually ended up, one of the judges that I presented to was one of the higher ups with VIA, and she found it very interesting. She gave me her card. I was able to contact her. Unfortunately, it kind of died down because COVID started to happen a couple months later. But I still every once am in contact with her, and she's a very nice lady who she'll give me help every once in a while. I'll reach out to her about some projects, and yeah. And I kind of said it earlier, just 3 words, I guess, to describe my experience was an eye-opening experience, because, it really just being a freshman coming here, it really helped to see what it's really like in the real world and how to give a real presentation. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I was knocked a couple points because when I was speaking freshman year, I used too many ums or buts, and they gave me some good feedback with that. And so it gave me something to work on. So I also just lastly would want to say, I know some people might think, oh, well, why should I do this? It's just a project for school, just to pass by. Just personally, I think you need to find that topic that you're actually passionate about. Don't just pick something to pick something. Don't just for a grade. Think about it as, you shouldn't care what grade you get. You should want to do something that you're really passionate about. And then just think that you're not the only person here. And I really feel that you should want to reach out and go help other people as well. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you so much, Michael. You really spoke to like, well, I love Speak Up, Speak Out so much because it is about presenting, but it's really not about winning. It's about digging into what really matters to you in your community and making, and that story about connecting with the woman from VIA and staying in touch is really the power of youth speaking to those who are in a position to really make important changes for our community. And so the pandemic has been a tough time for all of us. And so last year for Speak Up, Speak Out, we decided to build a partnership with Mark Menjivar, who's a local artist and is now our cast artist in residence. Yay! And he has helped us really think about what do we love about our community, but then also what do we want to make stronger about our community. So I am so excited today to present to you cast artist in residence, Mark Menjivar.
Thank you so much, Jean, and thank you, Michael, for sharing about your own experiences. And one of the things that I heard you talking about was how so much of what you got out of SUSO was making our community a better place. And I think that that is one thing that I have fallen in love with SUSO for. Not only, more importantly, I have two kids that are at CAS schools that go to the Advanced Learning Academy. And so I actually learned about SUSO through them. And as Jean mentioned, last year, we got to work together on a project that was installed at the museum called Under One Sky. And I think some of you who are in here probably participated inside of that and got to see your work hanging in the huge windows that were there. It was so beautiful and powerful to see. And some of you may have even gotten to participate in the project that we're going to be doing, really focusing on this year, which is called A Monument for the People. And so some of you may have seen lots of images recently in the news of monuments, some that are going up, some that are coming down, some that people are really having a lot of dialogue and debate about. And so today what I want us to do is we're going to talk about monuments a little bit, and we're going to actually create some of our own monuments. But to start us off, I want to talk about what is a monument. And so if you can go ahead and drop into the chat some of your responses to this. What is a monument, or what comes to your mind when you hear the word monument? Yeah, so it's a piece that's made for a cause or for something to remember our past, something that has a historical value, something that stands as a symbol, a building, a statue, a rock, dedication to somebody. All of these things are good, right? They're symbols, representation of something important. Look at all these coming in. This is great, y'all. And this is exactly it. You know, one of the things, as I've been thinking deeply about monuments and talking to different people, you know, there are some definitions of a monument, right? So we see one here on the screen right now as a statue, a building, or another structure erected to commemorate a famous or notable person or event. And that's so much of what you're kind of getting to here. But also, if you start to look at all the monuments that are in our community and around the country, you'll quickly be able to see that there's not necessarily an agreed on definition of what a monument is or what a monument can be. I have some friends in Philadelphia at an organization called Monument Lab, and they have a definition that they use about monuments. They say that a monument is simply a statement of power and presence in a public space. And I kind of like this definition because I think it really leaves so much open for the possibility of what a monument is. And when we start to look at examples of monuments all around our country. You can see all these little images here, and not just around our country, but around the world. You can see that monuments take a lot of different forms. And out of doing the workshops with many of y'all last year around monuments and thinking about monuments, this past summer, I got an idea. I said, what would it look like, or what would it mean if I started to look at monuments that were across our country, and what could we learn from those? And so I actually took a long road trip. You can see here, I started off here in our own city with our beloved and troubled Alamo, and I ended up at the Statue of Liberty. And I just want to share some of those pictures with you now as we lead into the exercise that we're going to be doing together. So I mentioned I started off at the Alamo, which you can see downtown. Most of you have probably been there. If you've not been there, maybe you've driven or walked by it. And that was a good starting point for me. Another place that I ended up being on this road trip was the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, which is located in Montgomery, Alabama. And this is a tribute to people who have died, who were lynched here in our country. And you can see here in the middle, there's actually a marker for Bexar County as well. And I thought it was a really powerful connection to see to our own community. I saw monuments that were being moved or covered up as people tried to reckon with the history of monuments in our community. And I saw some of the most famous monuments we have. Even this one here for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is the newest monument installed on our National Mall. This monument here is at Ground Zero, one of the most moving places that I got to go on this trip to see a monument commemorating hundreds of lives. And I mentioned the Statue of Liberty, and while I was not able to get super, super close to it, this is a really, really zoomed in image of one of the most iconic monuments or statues that we have here in our country, the Statue of Liberty. But as I came back to San Antonio, as I was walking on the Advanced Learning Academy's campus, I saw this monument here, which is to veterans from the Vietnam War who have fallen in our own community. And I was reminded that monuments are all around us all the time. And there's a quote at the bottom of this monument that really has stuck with me. And it says, "A nation reveals itself not only by the people it produces, but by the people it honors, the people it remembers," by one of our past presidents, JFK. And I thought that this was really important because one of the questions that I was really carrying with me on this trip is, who are monuments for? And I'd love to pose that question to you now. And so the same way that you shared out in the chat of what a monument is, who are monuments for when you think about monuments? They're for you, they're for anyone, they're for important people in history, people that have made an impact. That is right. And so many of the ones when I saw the monuments as I was looking around the country and paying attention to these, is that they were for, people that were past presidents or people who were really, really well known. I love some of these things coming in, right? They're for people that made an impact on history. They're for, important people. But these people that made an impact or made, that are important, that just don't have to be for our national importance, but they can be for people that are important in our own life. And one of the things I like to do is to think about, how do we flip that question? Who are monuments for, right? Monuments are for us, right? They're for the people. They're there to help encourage us to live a life that is full of the values that person represents. And so I love kind of thinking about that monuments exist for us as an encouragement, but also they can exist for anybody inside of our lives. And so with that, what I want to invite you to do today is I want to invite you to think about, who in your life do you want to honor? Why do you want to honor them? And what would a monument to that person look like? And the way that we're going to do this is we are going to working inside of a Padlet today, which a link to a Padlet is going to be coming to you through the chat right now with a sentence stem. And what I would love to invite you to do today is to complete this sentence stem. This is a monument for, because it looks like. Okay, and so thinking about, who in your life do you want to honor? It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a neighbor, it could really be anybody in your life. Who do you want to honor? Why do you want to honor them? And then what would that begin to look like? So an example of that, right, from my own life, This is a monument for my grandmother, Aida, because she raised me the first year of my life. It is tall, curly at the end, and it's made of pure gold. One of the things that I love about imagining monuments is that our imagination is the limit, right? It can be big, it can be small. You can imagine a monument made out of pure gold, right? I'm going to invite you to go ahead and go over to the Padlet and to create your own monument. Really important. Here we go. We have some starting to come in now. So this is a monument for Angel Pedrosa because she has helped me with work. It looks like a pencil with a curly hair instead of an eraser. I love that. What would they be made out of? If you could make a monument out of anything, what would you make it out of? This is a monument for my friends because they're cool and swaggy. It looks like a pair of sunglasses from Castem, JP. Thank you. This is a monument for my children because I want them to see where we have been and what type of future they can create for themselves. It will look like a trials of previous generations and how those generations conquered their struggles. Super powerful, Brianna, from Castem. So beautiful, y'all. I'll keep reading and sharing some of these out as they continue to come in. This is a monument for my grandpa because he is the best of friends. It looks like a grumpy old man in and out of golf clubs, and it's made out of golf clubs. I love that, right? They can be fun. They can be, I love it. Sometimes when I talk about this project, I talk about how monuments can move us to tears. Those are tears of sorrow or tears of deep emotion, but also tears of laughter, right? The whole spectrum can be represented inside of that. All right, we have lots coming in here. This is a monument for Earth. It looks like a rock. Thank you, Anthony. That's beautiful. From Castem. This is a monument for my sister because she always took me in when I needed somewhere to go. It would look like my very short sister with a younger version of myself. I love that. Well, I want to talk a little bit about what is going to happen with these. As some of you remember from the museum launch last year, we did this with students around, and we were doing them onto plywood boards into a modular system that looked something like this here. We did another installation of them at the Guadalupe Culture Arts Center, which was up for a couple of performances, really beautiful. This year, we're shifting things just a little bit. We are still doing the modular system, which is something similar here, but instead of doing them on plywood, we are actually transitioning and we are going to be doing them onto acrylic, onto plexiglass, which will have the cast school colors for them, and they'll be coming together. And instead of painting directly on them, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking your words and typesetting them and using laser cutters to carve and etch directly into the plexiglass, which will be really beautiful, and it'll be coming together still as a modular piece. And we'll be doing workshops with each of the cast schools, and we'll be working to do an installation on campus of that. And then this is really, I'm really excited about this. Next school year, we'll be working inside of the larger San Antonio community and making a larger public installation of this to share, not just share with the community, but to also invite the community to contribute to the project as well. So the work that you're creating today, the work that you're going to be creating in the coming weeks will be shared not just in your schools, but with the larger San Antonio community, and will serve as an invitation for the community to reimagine and submit their own monuments to the people that matter in their own life. Lastly, just as a closing, I just want to say thank you to all of you for all of the work that you do, not just in SUSO, but on your campuses. I am always so deeply encouraged by it. And you can keep adding into the Padlet for the rest of this Zoom meeting here. It'll still be live. And I look forward to seeing each one of you on your campuses in the coming weeks. We have the first in-person workshop scheduled with Cast Tech in about 2 weeks. So with that, I'll throw it back to Jean, and thank you all so much for everything. Appreciate it. Always enjoy being with you. But yeah, if you want to schedule a workshop, if you're like, hey, this is something that I would love to do on campus with my friends or my class, you can ask your teacher. And you can just scan this QR code right here. It'll take you to a link.
Thank you so much, Mark. We're excited to be collaborating with you. And we know that the students will be excited to be part of such a great, innovative, creative activity during this year's SUSO event. So thank you so much. I'm now going to hand it over to Leroy Adams, who is the Youth Voice Manager at Up Partnership.
I am Leroy Adams, the Senior Youth Voice Manager at Our Tomorrow. And Our Tomorrow is a citywide youth-led network that works with high school students like the young Michael, who wonderfully presented earlier, and community partners like CAS Schools to grow young people's influence and power on decision-making and policy that directly impacts you all. And every year, we're just excited and to partner with Jean and the CAS Schools Network on this amazing Speak Up, Speak Out event, which just continues to give young people a platform and an opportunity to really identify the challenges and issues in your community, and then to act on that, through solution making. So this year, we're even more excited to have the Our Tomorrow Youth Grant Committee, which is a group of high school students who will be offering grants to their peers like you all, and who will also serve as judges and funders for the SUSO event this year. And so we're super excited to partner with you all, to work with CAS, and to work with the students to really bring their voices to the forefront of solutions and decision-making here in San Antonio. So we just continue to encourage everyone, students, teachers and parents, continue to encourage everyone to share these opportunities like SUSO, like the Youth Voice grants that Our Tomorrow will be offering here in a few weeks, to share them with your peers, to share them with your students, and to share them with the children in your family, so that we can, as a community, work together to really elevate youth voice and power here in San Antonio. And so again, thank you all. I'm super excited about SUSO this year. And yeah, I'll kick it back to Alex.
Thank you so much, Leroy. We're excited that Our Tomorrow will be joining us and collaborating with us. And we look forward to our collaboration moving forward. So we'd like to conclude today's launch with next steps and important dates in relation to SUSO. So in order to compete, all teams, all students must complete and submit their project topic surveys by October 25th. So that's the first deadline. And in addition to that, we'll also have our students register through the UT Annette Strauss Institute for Civic Life. And the last piece is the first round of the virtual regional civics fair, which takes place also via Zoom on December 14th. So we're now going to open it up to a Q&A. If any of you all have any questions, feel free.
I also, sorry, I see a question, I think it's supposed to be Jason, asking, is it a good idea to get the general public's view on your topic? I think that if you don't know as much on the topic, it never really hurts just to do a couple surveys. I know at CAS, there was a couple of kids who were doing public transportation, and like with help with the teacher, they just went and asked some questions, like just basic questions on their thing. So I don't think it's really a negative thing. So I would say to probably go get the general public's view on it.
We're asking in the project surveys what your topics are. And the reason for asking is because we have an event that we started last year where we invite people who in the know on issues that you're researching. So for example, in the case of Michael's topic, that might include somebody from via public transit, to come to an event where we put you in breakout rooms with according to your topics, and then you can actually ask questions of those people as part of your research. So it's a way of giving you more access to some people who might otherwise be hard to get a hold of and who are subject matter experts in their area. So it was a big success last year, and we look forward to it this year.
Hi, I'm Heather Vaughn from UT Austin, and I just want to say that we're very excited to see what projects come out of San Antonio. It sounds like you have a lot of great ideas planned to really support and scaffold for students to really explore these topics that they're passionate about. And so, like Michael mentioned, I encourage you to figure out something that's really near and dear to your heart that you can spend a lot of time on, because this is something that is a labor of love and a chance for you to really contribute to your community. So we look forward to it.
Thank you, Heather. I want to thank you for always joining us for this event and the partnership. And I also am so glad that somebody asked about this year's theme because it's such a perfect one for this time. So if, for those of you who didn't catch it, the theme for this year is reimagining our world. I think it fits really nicely with what we're doing with the monuments. And so please think big, and we look to you, the youth, to tell us sort of what we can do to fix this beautiful broken world of ours. And Jose asks, can we do a skit for our projects? Jose, I think possibly, but there is an actual format for the presentation. So as long as you can incorporate the skit into the format, I think that would be very interesting and different.
So thank you so much again. We're excited to be working with all of y'all and are excited to see what creative things you can bring to the Cass Schools Network. Thank you so much.